Well now, just what's a little thing like you doing all the way out here at this hour? Up here, sweetie. A clever disguise among these trees, huh? Oh, I wouldn't try that if I were you. It's not like you can get away from me with those puny little human legs. No offense. I can see you take care of those thunder thighs. 2 steps from me and you're right back in my clutches. Not like I mind hunting down my prey. I just figured I'd give you a heads up so you don't tire yourself out for no reason. Say, now that I've got your attention, seriously, I was standing here watching you for the last 10 minutes and you didn't even notice. Leave it up to that lack of human night vision. Anyway, what's a traveler doing all alone out here? Especially at this time. Are you lost from your village, little one? Surely there's a reason for this sort of activity. Go ahead. Speak. I don't plan on dispatching you. At least, if you behave, that is. Now explain. A courier. Very interesting. To be out at this hour would imply an important delivery. Am I correct? Oh, a secretive one, aren't you? That's right. You don't have to tell me. After all, I wouldn't want to get you into trouble. You seem like a sweet human. Would you at least tell me where you're headed with that? I can warn you about any of my fellow kind along the route. They don't tend to be as friendly with humans as I am. Believe me, that's not a fate you want to endure. Oh, my dear, you can trust me. I know these forests like the back of my bony hands. If this was a trap, do you really think I would have come to warn you? Of course not. You humans are so easy to trick. I wouldn't even bother with such a boring game like that. I find it much more interesting when you humans are given a fair chance, hence the prior warning. Contrary to your people's teachings, not all of my kind are as bloodthirsty as those stories would have you believe, so don't be scared by my appearance, dear. I don't intend to bite your head off tonight. Rather, save you from that fate. Now, would you mind letting me see that map of yours? There you are, dear. No need to be afraid. Now, let's see here. Ah, heading to the capital, I see. I take it this is an urgent job. I can tell you already, there's no way you'll get there by morning, especially if you choose to go down this path. Nothing but trouble lays ahead, dear. I would hate to see an important job like this failed. I would also hate to see a precious little human like you be torn to pieces. I'm assuming you wouldn't appreciate that too much either. Not to worry, dear. I have a solution to your little conundrum. How would you like to ride me? My legs are astoundingly long after all, but it's not like you really have much of a better option. So choose wisely, dear. We would all hate to see a cutie like you fall victim to this forest. So, you've decided. Wonderful choice, dear. I'm sure soon you'll realize just how important this is. Now, may I pick you up, dear? Riding on my shoulder is an excellent viewpoint for a tiny human like you. We'll be at the capital in no time, although I may not join you there. A curse like me is prevented from entering lands blessed by light, so unfortunately I'll have to leave you a bit outside the gate. I doubt that'll be too much of an issue for a strong courier like yourself. For now, just enjoy the view for a while. Seeing above the treetops like this never quite gets old. I bet a traveler like you gets to see every part of these lands. How is it in those human civilizations these days? Believe it or not, I too was once human, But often, things don't go exactly as planned. Always remember that, darling. Is that wretched king still in power over there? Still hard to believe what he did. Since the disruption, nothing out here has been the same. These roads and highways have only gotten more perilous. Creatures and abomination roam the countryside at night. That fool, disrupting the natural order. Terrible things are to come, my dear. One would have to be blind to believe that dark magic isn't involved. His use may benefit him in the short term, but this corruption is soon to reach his city walls. It's already too late to save them from their fate. So, courier, I must ask, why are you still here? Serving a doomed master. Surely you've come to this realization, too. You seem to be a reasonable human. Open-minded at the very least. After all, you are riding on the shoulders of what many would consider to be a terrible omen. You are an interesting one, little human. It seems my mere observation of you was enough to predict your rather interesting outlook. Oh, my dear, I've been developing that for many centuries now. This road used to be full of travelers from all over the land, although most travel ceased after this corruption. I still retain my skills at reading people. Most I've encountered out here recently have been either monster hunters or adventure seekers. You know, it's quite nice to find someone who doesn't want you dead for once. Not like any of those other humans posed a challenge, but it is quite nice to talk to someone normally. At least, as normal as a human and an ancient curse can talk. Hopefully you see how my kind isn't all bad, just like I see with yours. Do you see that glow up ahead? That indicates an area of mass corruption. This area has been causing travelers to steer well clear of this road. Good thing I found you in time. This is just the sort of area you see mortals enter and never return from. You're telling me those who sent you told you to come this way? I'm not sure if this was a setup from the start or they're really just that dumb. Either way, I wouldn't suggest returning to them for more work. There have been accounts of curses posing as humans to manipulate followers into sacrificing themselves unwillingly. A nasty business indeed. Be wary of those wretched beings. How are you doing, human? A little one like you must be quite tired after what I assume to be a long day of travel. You may rest in my collarbone if you wish. For a mostly skeletal creature, I think you'd be surprised at the amount of heat I give off. I think you could use some rest, sweet human. That's it. Make yourself nice and comfortable. You've had a rough day. You humans really are so easy to trick. Oh, it's nothing, my darling. Just relax yourself. I'll continue onwards towards the castle. I'll make sure you're safe with me, dear. You and I make such a divine team. Oh, what's the matter? You can't move, can you? Poor thing. But you knew I couldn't just let you go on your way. Oh no, finding a cute human like you is just too much to pass up on. Especially these days. So rare is it to find a human I don't have to kill. So you're coming with me. Oh dear, what did you expect? I'm a curse. It's in my nature to be deceptive, but I certainly don't want to hurt you. I just want to keep you all to myself. Any curse would be out of their minds to leave a little human like you alone to be picked apart. I have a much better purpose for you. How lonely does it get carrying packages from all across the land by yourself? Face it, when was the last time anyone treated you with any sort of affection? I bet it's been quite a while. Let me take care of you, my dear. I do apologize for the slight paralysis effect. I wouldn't want you panicking and falling from this height. That would surely be a death sentence. And about that package of yours. Unknowingly, you're carrying quite the dangerous material. I could sense it when you first approached. I simply cannot allow you to deliver it. If the king gets a hold of this, it will only accelerate the fall of this land to the corruption. That will truly be a dark day for all beings of this land. For now, all we can do is hope to postpone the inevitable. And I'll be damned if I don't get a cute little human in my possession by then. That would be you, my dear. I can get you out of this whole game to begin with. You've just got to put some faith in me. I know it can be scary, but the alternative is much worse. You'll fall victim to the corruption inevitably in this line of work. I was lucky enough to keep my rationality even as a curse, but most are nowhere near as fortunate. You'll have your mind rotted away till all you can think of is the consumption of human flesh. Only thing is, by that time, all humans will have either died or become one of us. Endless starvation is all that awaits those left in this world. That's why we're not going to stick around here. And you have just the answer with that delivery, my dear. And might even land me the chance to cure myself. That's why I can't let you go, even if you might not understand at the moment. I assure you, this is going to be for the good of not only yourself, but all of those you know. I must take you to my den before daybreak. The night allows me some cover. No doubt we're going to be a primary target once the king finds out. It's just you and I from now on, darling. I know I'm asking a lot and very suddenly, but if you have any value for this world and its inhabitants, you'll join me in full support. Now rest. I need you at full strength. It's important. Feel the wave of tiredness sweep over you. Don't try and resist it anymore. You'll be taken care of, darling. I promise. Heading to the capital. Oh my god, I fucking said capital. That's a throwback. Heading to the capital. I did again. Fuck.